Okay, so we have a couple of members on here. I'm just gonna do a short little video on how I trade the divergences. The most important thing for divergence is to first understand what they are and what the patterns look like. So you can Google divergences, and there are many charts on Google that you can find. This one here that I'm showing you right now, this is my favorite chart. You can find this, and I can even send it to you guys later. But this has all the patterns. It has the basic reversal divergences, meaning that the trend is changing from a long to a short, or from a short to a long. Okay, and then you have the hidden continuation divergences, which are the trend continuation divergences. So those are really cool. And for beginners, it's really good for you to start off learning the hidden continuation, because you are trading with the trend. So once you learn these patterns and identify them on the chart, it'll just make trading a little bit easier, because you could identify this, and then you have a high probability that the pattern will take form and do what it's supposed to do. Remember, in trading, there's never any certainties. Okay, you work in probabilities, so nothing is 100%. So sometimes you will get a good divergence that'll work. Sometimes it's a failed divergence. So but for the most part, whenever I do see a really nice setup, I do like to take it. So let's take a look on the charts right here. So for instance, let me show you what's happening here. Here you can see the EMAs right here, the orange and the red line, just by looking at the 2-minute time frame. You can see it here that the trend is moving down. Okay, so we want to see if we can find some shorts, if at all possible, and or continue hidden continuation divergences. Okay, but we can also look for some nice reversals on the way too. So right here is a really nice divergence right here. You can see it. So, and what that means is that here price was going up. Okay, but if you look at the oscillators, look what's happening here on this is the blue band is the ultimate oscillator. The momentum is shifting, it's starting to go down. And also on the TSI right here, the momentum is also shifting and it's starting to go down. So this right here is a reversal divergence. It's called a bearish divergence right there. Okay, so it's making a higher high on the candles, but it's making a lower low on the indicator. Okay, so you can see that. So the really good thing about, from what I'm discovering here with the trading oracle indicator is that after I spot a divergence, it just seems that the indicator will soon pop up right after that. So what I've been trying out lately is, like, let's say, you can set alerts to these indicators. You can set alerts. I don't know if you guys knew that. So you can go on the indicator right here, trading oracle, and then you hit these three buttons, the three dots, and where it says here, add alert on trading oracle. Okay, this will come on. So, and then it's already set for buy. So you can set an alert for a buy, and you can set an alert for when it's time to sell. So for either the green or the red. Okay, So let's say you wanted to do one that, you're buying, it's going up. Okay, so I have it set to once per bar close. So once the bar finishes, the time frame that it's on 2 minutes, then it'll alert me. And then you can name your alert whatever you want. You can name it, buy alert, by, TO, 2 minute time frame. And then same thing over here on the message. I name them twice, because you can have it set to your phone and your email, and it can email you a prompt, and it can also prompt you on your phone that there's an alert. That's if you're not, on the chart, for instance. So once that's all set, then you hit create. Okay. So I'm not going to do it, but I will show you right here what that looks like. So here is what my alert looks like. So this is the one for the buy. See, I have it set to once per bar close. And then this is what I named it, 2 minute buy TO, 2 minute buy TO. You hit save and it places it in here. See, because I hit okay, it made it active right now, but I'm going to stop it or else it'll ring throughout, so I'm just going to hit the stop button and that's it. And then here's the one for the sell. So tomorrow morning, when I wake up, then I just hit the restart button and you see how it's active right now. So now that means that those alerts are active. So if I get a signal on a buy or a sell, then it's gonna let me know which one it is. So that's how you would do that, but I'm gonna go ahead and stop them for now. So since I am on a futures chart, futures trades 23 hours a day, so I have to stop these or else it's just going to constantly, ding and ring on my phone and on my computer. So that's important. Okay. So reason I was showing you this is one, it's good to have alerts set up. Let's see, where were we here? We were on this one. Okay, so reason I'm showing you this is because it's good to have it set up. So once that rings, what that tells me is it's probably a good time, maybe if everything looks good, I can take a short sell right here. So before I even do that, then I like to see if there's a divergence in place. Okay, and I do spot the divergence. And there's even one, like I was saying on the TSI, there's double confirmation here too. So that means, when this candle finishes, the alert will come on. I'm most likely I'm watching the screen, but I'm going to go ahead and hit, the sell button, and then, you can manage your trade from there. You can add your own risk reward, however your trading plan is set, so in this case, this risk to reward, just so you can see, was right here. You can put your stop loss, right at the top there. And then I like to look at market structure. So right here to the left, you can see how far price came down, and then, right there, you can set your take profit right over here and you have some nice gains right here. So, and this is all because of the, divergence pattern that gave me the confidence to take on a trade like this. So one of the other things that I have noticed, with the indicator, the TO signal, is that if I am going to take a short trade, here I'll use red for short, I like to see, what I like to see on the ultimate oscillator is I like to see the band underneath the orange line right here. And that's exactly what's happening right here. So that's an added confluence to me right there. Plus, I like to see the TSI crossed going down in the direct, pointing in the down direction right here. So that's an added confluence. This third indicator is also a TSI indicator with a different setting, but I'm still testing this. I'm trying out a few different settings on this, so this one is set at a higher time frame, but this one can, as you can see here, the bands are split open, so it can help you stay in the trade a little bit longer until it, crosses over again. But I'm still testing out some time frames on this, so that could be to follow. But the important thing is that you follow a few rules, you enter your trade, you're confident about it, and you manage it from there on out. Okay, and that here is a bearish divergence right here. Okay, so the next thing is, let's see if we can spot a hidden divergence, a continuation hidden divergence. Okay, and with that, what we're going to do is, first off, let me just kind of remove all this right here. Okay, so we have our first point at the top right here. Okay, that's our first point. So we need, since price right now, we know it's in a down position, we know that we're looking for a hidden bearish divergence that's going to go with the trend. So we have our first point of interest right here. Now we're going to search for a second point of interest, which would be right here. So once this forms, this is, I know, is the second point of interest. And all this can happen fast, but it's okay. The idea is I want you to identify the pattern. So let me just remove this line here and here. Okay, so this line here was our first point of interest. So we're going to go down and mark the circle, just kind of circle that area and circle this peak here also. I'll just move it right there. And now, since we have the second peak, you can, circle that peak right there and also circle that peak right there. So what we want to do here is we want to see the opposite happening on the candles. Okay, so this is going down. So what we want to see here is we want to go up. We want to see the opposite. And that's exactly what happened right here. If you notice on the TSI, it didn't do that. On the TSI, it actually went down. So this is same angle, as this is pointing down, that's pointing down. So this to me is a void right there. So that's a void. But this one is the good one because it's the opposite of what it's doing. Plus, it's also on the chart. And we could take a look at that right here. So here, let me just kind of go, oops. Let me just bring this in. Where'd it go? Sorry. Here we go. So you can see here on the chart, you can see price making a lower high right here. And you can see it right here on the bearish. You see this right here as it goes down. Okay. And then look what's happening on the oscillator. It's going up right here. And right here, you can see it going up. So that means you have a nice bearish divergence moving down. So you may ask now, like, where am I going to enter? So this is how I like to do it when I see these. So right here, you see the crossover on the TSI, right? You see that crossover? So you're going to enter that trade once you get that crossover right there. So this is the candle based on this crossover, and that's going to be your entry. And then once again, you can manage your trade, as you take it down. So a little tip, and it doesn't happen all the time, but the first hidden divergence is usually going to be like your best one, so take advantage of that, because that one is going to run probably the longest. And you also have to remember, when you're trading, the trend isn't going to last forever. It's not going to go down forever. It's going to come to an end. So that's why if you see the first hidden bearish divergence or a hidden bullish divergence, it's great to take those right away, and gain some points, but you can back test everything that I say here. This is this is just my take on divergences and some of the little tricks that I do, but I always urge everybody to back test this on their own and see if it suits you just well. Okay, so let's see what happens as we move down right here. So as we move down, the trend is finally coming to an end. And in hindsight here, we can just kind of see everything, just went sideways, but how do we know that? We don't know that yet, so if I'm down here, I would be searching, for a reversal, for a bullish divergence pattern right here, so as price here is going down, well, first off, what you would have to do is I would highly recommend, all your charts be marked, somewhere along the line, way to the left. I'm pretty sure there's levels that go way to the left. We would have to check. Let me go to a 1 hour time frame here. And it's always good to check on these. Let's see, where's my, okay, looks like we were way up here. Sorry, guys. Yeah, here we go. We were way to the left. So you see what I mean? This is where we are. This is on a 1 hour time frame. So right here, where I kind of just made that line, see, if you're looking way to the left, you do have right here some wicks that are hanging down right there, and this is why it caused price to stop where it did over here. So it reacted to this level of support, and then there's another support area right there. So you always need to look left as you take on these trades. So going back to what I'm, why, this is a really nice area right here, is because as price comes down, this is another pattern that I see all the time. It's called an H pattern for the obvious reasons, because it's going to form an H like that. You see that right there, right on top before it moves up. So I like to kind of wait to see if I do see an H pattern. There's like a little one right here, but then this one was like the bigger. Someone overtook it all right there. And what I want to see is, I want to see if there's a divergence down here that is going to let me take a long position. So once again, now this is a reversal. So I'm going to look, if you're looking at the chart, you try to see what's happening. So here, there is a divergence pattern right here. There's, actually this side happens to go down just a little tick shorter than this candle right here. Okay. And on the oscillators, from where you are, you can definitely see it shifting direction. Here it's going higher right there, just like that. So once again, we have double confirmation that price is going to go up. So once again, you can see right here that the TO signal to go long showed up right after the divergence trade. So, and because I have my alert on, when this candle closes, the alert is going to notify me. Okay, I mean, it'll notify me on these, and then here I decide whether I want to take a trade or not. So I wouldn't take a trade on these, but I would just wait until I see, something better. If you're ever in doubt about taking a trade and you're like, maybe I will, maybe I won't, it's best not to partake in that trade. Just wait for another setup, so you don't want to get in trouble and have the price go against you. So right here, what do we see? We got price, moving up. So you would take on this trade right here. Okay, so we already see that the ultimate oscillator is going up. We have the TSI is going up too. It's also a confirmation, and another little trick that I have is just like how we saw in the continuation divergence where you enter the trade. Okay, a couple things here. One, you can, let me just make another marker. This one, I'll make it green since we're going up. So you can wait until we get a crossover right here at the ultimate oscillator. See how it's crossing the orange line right there. We can wait until that happens and enter our trade here going up. That's probably the best thing to do. Or, right where the TSI crosses over, showing that it's going up, you can take your trade there. I would rather prefer to wait until the blue line crosses the 50 line. You can see here on the scale, let's get the 50, which, it's like a zero line. I still call it a zero line, but, and here you can really see, where you want to, engage on your trade, and you can go up. And since we already had a zone marked up here, it's highly probable that, once you're in a trade, this is a good area to take profit, because as you can see here, what happens later is that, it just kind of goes sideways. So, so we got two really nice trades over here on divergences. It takes some time to study and understand this chart, all the patterns right here, and that's okay. The key is to pick, like one pattern each day, for instance, and try to find it on the chart. Try to find it on the chart. As simple as that. You're looking for a bullish divergence. Well, obviously, you're going to look for, price going up. You want to see what's happening, right here. So which, exactly, this is what's happening. And you're going to find, and here's a bullish divergence here too. So you're going to find that these reversal divergences, they happen at key levels is where they happen. So when price moves down for a long time, obviously it's going to want to reverse. So when you find your divergence pattern, then you can plan it that way and reverse up. So just like right here, we have a point of interest right here, and all you got to do now is just wait. Okay, we just need to be very patient and just wait. This is it. Trading is all about waiting. It's like, if you can sit there and watch in the summertime, watch the grass grow, then, you're going to be great at this. If you can sit there and watch paint dry, you're going to be good at this because you're very patient. Some people aren't patient. They just want things to happen right away, but you need to wait. Okay. So how I like to pick out my points of interest is I like to pick out the more prominent, points like this. So since we're looking for a bullish divergence, we're looking for valleys. These are the valleys down here. Okay, see how it makes the V for valley, and at the top it's the peak, like the peak of the mountains. So that's for bearish. So here we got to find a valley and another valley. Also, down here where the indicator are, we need to find a more prominent, valley area too. So, and you can do that by kind of lining up your cursor going down. Sometimes it's in a general area. It's not going to be exactly 100% on the spot. Sometimes you will have to move your mouse to the left and right a little bit to find the better valley, okay? So in this case, they were pretty much all in the right spots, just a little here. I had to move over to the right a little bit. So right here, then, and then look what happens here. We get the signal right after that divergence trade, okay? So look what's happening here, folks. Here, price is making a lower low on this end, okay? And if you look at your oscillator, it's making a higher high right here. So when I use these two, I only need to see the divergence on one or the other. Okay, if you find them on both, like how we did here, then that's just double confirmation. But I only needed to see it on one or the other. Doesn't matter which one. This is why I use both of them, because sometimes I can see it at the top. If not, then I'm going to use it on the bottom. I'm going to see if I can find it on the bottom. So if I'm looking at the TSI, look at that. This is not valid once again, because this end is dropping down, just like how it is on this end. So what we want to find is the opposite. You see that? We want it to look different than price. So this could have been like a straight line. If it was a straight line, that would have still counted as a divergence, but whatever we do, we want it to be opposite of what it's showing on price, not going in the same angle, the same direction. So right here, once again, it's a nice bullish divergence right here. So look at this. All my confluences line up beautifully on this one. You see this right here? It's the blue band is above the orange line, and my TSI has crossed, and it's going in a direction that I want it to cross. And even on the third one down here, it's at the crossover right here too. So that's a good indication too that it's going to be moving up. So here's our confluences right now on taking this trade. One, we've got a nice bullish divergence right here. Okay. Two, the blue band is above the orange line. Three, the TSI has crossed and it's pointing in a direction you want price to be going. And then four, which is in the testing phase still, this one is at the crossover, which is a good indication. Okay, but regardless, we've got three very nice confluences that is going to give me the confidence to take on this trade. So once I take on this trade, then once again, you got to manage it on your own, however your trading plan is, whether you do a 1-to-1 risk reward, a 1-to-1.5, however your trading plan is, you have to manage it for that. But the idea behind divergences is you're identifying simple patterns that are on this chart right here, and you're just trying to match them up with some confluences here and to take a trade moving to the up direction, going bullish, or if it's a bearish divergence, going in the down direction. So what's really cool about the trend is that they don't last forever. Okay, so you have to be a detective, and I like saying that. You need to investigate what's happening in the bottom of the trend and what's going to happen at the top of the trend, because what you want, what you want is the middle right here. This is the meat of the trend right here. This is where the money is right here. So how do you get to this level? You know, you need to identify what's happening at the bottom of the trend to help you enter to get to the meat of the trend. And then once that's over, the cycle begins again. You're at the top of the trend, and what are you identifying at the top that's going to give you the confidence to move into the money train right here? Okay, this is what people want. So let's see what happens up here. So we finally moving to the top right here. So I have some EMAs. The red line is the 300 EMA. The orange line is the 144 EMA. So price now is pulling into these EMAs. Now remember, overall price is still moving down, because look at this. This is moving in that down direction right here. You see that? These bands are like really wide apart. That's telling me that it's a very strong bearish trend. You see that? You see how wide these are, one from the other? That's telling me, you know, it's like watching the weather. It's like the jet stream, man. It's coming from the north, moving to the south. You know, it's a big one right here. So when I see something like this is the trade that I call the slingshot. You know, so I kind of see this teal line as like the rubber band, like on the slingshot. You know, you pull it back, and then when you get your signal, that's the trigger. You release, and then bam, you know, price shoots out. You know, so that's one way of seeing this. But let's see if we can find another divergence over here that'll make us take another trade. Okay, so right now we got price chugging along to the top. Okay, so what's happening up here? You know, so as price is coming up here, and then all of a sudden price falls. Okay, before any of this happened, you notice this peak. Okay, so I am going to circle this peak area right here. So let me see what I'm looking at. So once this happens here, I want to see what's happening down here. What's happening on my oscillators down here? Okay. So what I like to do sometimes is use the vertical portion of the mouse to kind of see how the oscillators below are working as price is moving up or down. Does that mean, you know, is the oscillator moving down as price is going up? Do you guys notice anything right here? Look at this from this area right here. Look at this. This is a high point. Look at that. See that? This is a peak right here. So look at that. And if I'm lining it up, this is somewhere about right here. Okay. So look what's happening, folks. Look at that. This is about right here. So, okay, so look at the vertical dotted line of my mouse. So as price is moving up, what's happening with that blue band? As I reach the second peak, it's going down. Okay, so that right there is an indication that there's a shift in momentum right there. Okay, and then I'm trying to see if it's happening with the TSI also. So it didn't happen on this end right there, okay, because that is crossed and it's still showing that it's going up. But what has happened is at the top, from this green peak to the little green peak right here, that is a divergence also. So not only are we seeing the shift moving down up here, but I am still seeing a shift here. This is a straight line right there. So this counts as a divergence, and this also counts as a divergence. So we can easily draw our line going up that way, and we can label this a bearish divergence right there. So what do we do next? Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to be patient. That's what we're going to do. Okay, we're going to wait until we find the TO signal. Remember how I told you it usually appears soon after? Well, this one took a little bit. It looks like price went against us a little bit. Well, it started to go down, but then it went up against us a little bit here. But then look what happened. Right after that, that is going down. So how do I know that this is still valid and this price action is going down? Is because right here, this candle, this very top candle, the high, you see that is still higher than this candle. So as these candles were going higher, if this one, let's just say, was going to go up higher, there's a good chance that price could have continued higher. But, in this case, it just wanted to stop right there, and then, take a fall. So that's how I know that this was going to start to drop going there. And that was even before the signal candle came on, because you can already see you got some doji candles right here, which they're indecision candles. And then price finally dropped right there. So what's happening right here? Okay, we got a signal from TO. I'm going to put my line right there on the signal. I'm going to check my confluences down below and see if those line up, see what's happening. So on the ultimate oscillator, okay, right here, I like this because it's underneath the blue line. It's underneath the orange line, rather. And here you can see that it's, right past the crossover, and it is going in the direction that I want price to go. And even this big guy down here is already crossed, and we are in good terms with this guy also. So, maybe I'll check these out, these settings a little bit later on and kind of do some more testing on it. But for now, I would feel pretty confident taking on this trade, right where the signal is telling me to. And once again, you need to manage your trade and how far your risk to reward is for this. So this right here is, we've seen a couple of divergence trades, study the chart, learn some of these patterns. I didn't go as in depth, maybe we'll do that another day and find some various divergences, but this is basically it. Remember, folks, you've got the cycle right here. This is a nice cycle. Okay, you always find out what's happening at the bottom. Okay, what's going to give you that confirmation to enter. Once you finish entering, and if you're identifying another divergence at the top, what's going to give you the confidence to enter that trade? What's that pattern going to look like for you? So in this case, we had to do a little bit of investigating here, so we found that there was a peak over on this area and price started to go up, but from this level, price was starting to move down. and you can really see it over here too, so it's going down. Okay, and then what happened is that the Oracle signal showed up. It's a bearish one, and then we can enter the trade based off of some confluences down here, and we take on these trades. Okay, so we can do one more. This is a hidden divergence coming up. It's a hidden bearish one. So right now we're at this peak right here because we're going down, and we just formed a peak right there. Okay, so we already have these circled. So as price is coming up, look at that. We got another peak right over here. Okay. And how do we know this peak is valid? It's valid because price had crossed over right here, and it's telling me that it's valid. Okay, so that formed a peak. It's a valid peak. Okay, it's going down. So look what's happening here is that price is going down lower. Oh, here, I forgot to circle these peaks on my oscillator down here. You bring that into view. So if this one is going down, we want to see the opposite, and we get it right there. So this is the only one that I don't even have to check with this one, because if I see it on one, then it's good enough for me. But let's check both. Let's see what's happening. What's happening on these peaks? So on the TSI, I use the green line for my peaks and valleys only. The red is just for the crossover. So what this is doing from the top of the green peak here and here, these are equal highs. So this is a valid divergence signal down here too. And this is valid also. So now we even have double confirmation on it. And what makes this even better is that a TO signal showed up right here too. So, what we can do is take our vertical line and come down here. Now, as you can see right here, you can see that it didn't cross the line right there. So if you wanted, if you want to be, really confident, you can wait right here until, one right here, most likely, wait until it crosses over, underneath the orange line, and you can take a trade right there. That's probably what I would have done. I would have liked to seen this blue line underneath the orange line right here. Okay, so I would take on this trade. And once again, the TSI, it is crossed and it's pointing down in the direction that we want it to go. The big guy right here is kind of flat, actually, which is a good sign because there is like some consolidation right in here. So I guess that's why it kind of went flat. But, once we have a confluence here and here, that's great, and this I want to use this somewhat a little bit differently, which once I approve and confirm the settings here to my liking, then we can talk about how this could be used in a trade. Okay, so we're going to enter the trade right here. So your stop loss is going to go above these highs, these wicks over here, and then you're going to manage it going down. And man, if you got lucky to get in on this trade, look at that. This thing just dropped really, really nice. Plus, it's like a no-brainer because right here too, you've got the red band on top, you got the orange band, and you have the teal band. So, they're fanned out real nicely over here. And this is pretty much close to the open of the New York session too. So this candle right here was the New York session open. So this is why this kind of just went up a little bit and then, just went the other way, just faked people out, went the other way right here. And all because, we identified a little pattern right here. We just followed some simple rules and had the confidence to take on those rules and enter a trade. And there you go. That's what happens when you stick with your rules. So I think this is enough for today, for this evening. Thank you guys for joining. Do you guys have any questions? Dervin?
Hey, Andy. Is there a
Yeah, what'd you
way?
think? What'd you think? Is this something pretty cool?
It is. It is. Is there a way to create uh like a script as far as naming your divergence and stuff like that, or do you basically write it from scratch?
Like how I did up here?
Yes.
Well, what I did here, I mean, this you can do in TradingView. Like when I identify this, instead of typing it out each time, I save it as a template. So for
Okay.
instance, like if I draw my line, like let's say this is another bearish divergence, I hit this, you see where it says templates? It's part of my little palette right here.
Okay.
I already have a series of the divergence names right here. So all I do then is just click bearish divergence and it just names it for me automatically, you know. Now, what are you trying to say is you're looking for a script that would identify the divergence?
Yeah, but I guess that'll be too easy. But
I wish there was, I've tried quite a few divergence indicators, and at least for me, I just couldn't really understand a lot of them.
yeah,
Sometimes with these things, you really need to spend a lot of time, and I was seeing a lot of like false signals, on some of these divergences. So, if you learn this chart and I mean, once you spot it, you can never unsee it because I mean, when this was forming, I mean, I can, like this right here, and then when I look down here, I know that that's a divergence. I don't even do this much anymore. I do it for you guys when I show some samples, because
hmm,
I've trained my eye to find these things, so and that's because I'm using the same oscillators, and that's another key thing to the way you trade, depending on your trading style and what oscillators you like to use. You really understand how these things work, how it moves, the flow of it, you know. So if you keep switching from this, and then somebody was mentioning, oh, what about the RSI? I think it was you. Maybe I'll try the RSI, maybe I'll try the squeeze, maybe I'll try this, maybe I'll try it. The more of those that you're going to be putting on to try to find the best is
yeah,
you're really going to be searching for a very long time, because you can take any oscillator and most likely, I haven't tried this, but you could probably make a strategy out of it depending on what it does and how it works. So I found that the ultimate oscillator right here, is really good for spotting divergences. Okay, the TSI can also spot divergences, and it's great because I tweak the settings to kind of almost mimic the flow of price action right here. And the way I see that is that it gives me the crossover. So I'm getting good confirmations after I spot the divergence to see once it crosses over, I can take on that trade going up or down. And also with the confluence of the ultimate oscillator being above or below the orange line right here, just gives you another added confluence that, hey, it's underneath the line, you got your signal, this thing could start moving down, so there's something to be said about your indicators. If you start using them properly and understanding how it works, then by all means do it. I'm never going to tell you don't try one. I'm never going to tell you this one is better than the other. These are all personal preferences. So whichever one you really enjoy using, and if you're really good at it, then by all means do it.
So which, pardon me. So which one is that one right there? The one with your with the color blue. Which oscillator is that
This
one?
one is, it's called the Ultimate Oscillator. It's from TradingView. And
Okay.
yeah, it's just the standard settings. I didn't tweak it or anything. You
Yeah, I
know,
like that one.
yeah, yeah. And then I showed you the TSI. So yeah.
So you don't use the one that's the for TO itself.
The TO, what do you mean?
The TO oscillator, the one that comes with
Oh,
the.
in all honesty, I haven't even put it on my chart to test it really. I mean, this is,
Okay.
I mean, look, I mean, hey, for all I know, maybe that's going to be really good. But I mean, that just kind of tells you I'm really confident about my indicators that I have down here, that I don't need to have another one down here. For me, these work fine. You may try this and it may not work for you. You may not get it for some reason. Somebody else might get it. You might not get it. So but for me, I really enjoy these right here. But yeah, I'll put on the other one, just to kind of see what it really does. But but for now, I'm just really enjoying all these. So moving with the flow of traffic is always the best way to trade. Because you have more bars going in your direction, as you can see. Everything is moving. You get more bars in your direction, because a lot of times if you take reversals, you don't know how high up it's going to go before it moves with the flow of traffic again. So I hope you understand that, what I'm trying to say. you
Yeah,
know
definitely
yeah,
understanding.
yeah, when
How do
you
you
Mhm.
how do you get that straight orange line in between the oscillator right there?
Oh, this one,
Yes.
that one, uh okay. So a friend of mine actually tweaked this indicator for me, because I added a center line, and I added kind of like an overbought and oversold area, but the idea is these numbers stay the same. Okay. If you want to add, see, so what he did was he added some other things here for me, just to kind of give me that orange line, and a line above and below if I wanted to ever use those. But that's fine. If you look up the ultimate oscillator, these are the settings that you need. These are the settings. So if you want to get that orange line, the way you can do it is like this. You can take your horizontal line and drop it in there. You see how I dropped this yellow line in here? Okay, you're looking at that.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I still
So
don't
then
understand.
you
How
go to
did
your
you?
you go to your gear. You see this little gear right here?
Okay.
You press that and you go to your coordinates. And here you change that number to 50.
So gear.
You see that? And then you go to coordinates, and then you
Did
change
you?
that number to 50.
Is that a part of the your
That's
chart setting? Is that a part of your chart setting where you pull
that
that
is
gear up?
that is part of the line, the horizontal line setting.
No, I
See,
meant like how did you drop that line in there? If you can go over that a little bit,
yeah,
please.
yeah, okay. You know how you have like your lines. I have a palette with all the tools that I use. You
Yes.
grab your horizontal line. Okay, you see how it's highlighted here? You go
Okay.
into your ultimate oscillator and then just drop it in there. Drop it anywhere in there.
Okay. I try to drop it in there, but
Yeah, it should. It should drop right in there.
I don't know why mine is.
Yeah, see, I mean, I could take another one. I could drop it in the TSI. You see that? You know, I'm going to delete it, but I mean, you can drop it inside the ultimate oscillator. Just
So
drop
you
it.
copied it. You copied it
No,
and then drop it.
I did not copy a thing. You know, what I did was, okay, here, let's do it like this. You know, on the side where you've got your lines and all your other tools.
Yes.
Okay, here, I'm going to grab my horizontal line. Okay, it's activated now. And go hover. I want you to hover over the ultimate oscillator and click. And there it is.
Okay. Yep. I see it now.
You got it in there?
Yes.
Okay. Now you're going to see a palette with the little gear on it. You see the little gear?
Yep.
Click on that gear and then go to coordinates. Click on the coordinates
Okay.
and change that number to 50 and hit OK. You got it?
Yep. That's
Okay.
50.
Now, what I want you to do is, you see this little lock right here?
Yep.
Press that lock. And what that does is it locks that line in at that coordinate. So if you're ever in here and you try to move it, see, now you can't move it. It's locked in.
Okay.
And that's it. And then just save your chart.
All right.
So that's how you get that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So Nikki, Silverwing, you guys have any questions?
I'm okay, thank you.
Okay,
Silvery.
cool. All right. So I think this let's see here. Oh, Nikki had a question that she wrote. I don't know if she's around, but she said for the green box on the chart, do you draw manually? Yeah, these right here, I draw those manually. You know, so these you could just grab your rectangle tool, you know, wherever you have, you know, if you find like a nice peak, you know, sometimes in the near future, you know, price might come back up to this area. So this can serve as a visual marker. You know, you see this? Like, for all I know, price can start moving closer to this. And if it's moving closer here, I know that on the left, I had it is because we have a peak right here. So price can go up to here and then bounce off of it, or pass it, bounce, and then just go back up. So it just depends. But yeah, I draw these manually, you know, for support and resistance, my zones. Yeah. And then she's asking if these are the same support and resistance from trading Oracle. No, you know what? They use some, you know, intelligent algorithm that kind of has these other support and resistance lines that manually shift and move, you know, so those are pretty cool. I do have those on my chart at times. But for the most part, I like to look to the left and draw my own, you know, so you got that should be standard practice for everybody, is to mark up the chart before you actually take on your trades, you know, because this way it gives you a better visual of where price could be going. Like before any of this happened, look at this, you had price down here, and if you draw a zone going out, you know, look at this, now when price is going down, you already have a zone drawn out here. You know that price might reverse in this area, and that's exactly what it did. So not only did it reverse at a level, but it's also divergence. It's a bullish divergence. You can clearly see it. You see that, Dervin? This is what I'm talking about. Once you train your eye, it's you just can't unsee these. They're everywhere. So
And so those zones that you're talking about, is that your supply and demand zones? Is that the
well,
same thing?
I don't formally know how to draw the proper supply and demand zones, but these are just levels that I know price at times likes to return back to. Like price stopped here, went up, and it kind of came right back down to the zone area before it moved back up again. So it's good practice to draw out levels, more key levels, and you got to start doing that more in the higher time frames. And then you do a drop down analysis, and maybe we could touch up on that like at another time. But for now, I just, wanted to show you some brief, introduction to divergences and how those could be beneficial, as a confluence to your trading style. Not everybody trades divergences, but if you know how to spot maybe a few of these reversal patterns, hey, maybe that might help out your own trading style. However people trade. Some people trade with, Fibonacci's, other people trade strictly with supply and demand, but if they can identify a divergence, within that trading style, then, hey, why not? It can really help you out. So, yeah. So whatever direction the trend is going, it can really help you, you know. So just quickly right here, here's a bullish. This one right here is a bullish, hidden bullish divergence. See how it's going opposite to each other? Same thing here. See how these lines are pointing down, this one is pointing up. And then look at that. We even have the trading oracle signal right here. And even if I draw my straight line, I'll do it green for going up. Look at that. It's above, the blue band is above the orange line. This is in that zone where it's pointing upwards right here. And this one's also crossed, going up. So here you could take another really nice trade and get some more points, So that's what trading's all about, is just following your rules. So, all right, guys. Well, I think we're just going to end it right here. And, if you guys ever have questions, you could always, text in the chats and stuff, and we can, continue. All right, guys, have a great evening. Take care. Bye.